Hello, beautiful Libra. The opening days of July are arriving with the feeling that something meaningful is beginning to shift, and you may already sense it in ways you can't quite explain. A welcome surprise could be moving closer. Hidden truths may soon become clearer, and the opportunity you've quietly hoped for feels closer than before. You didn't come across this message by accident, and perhaps this moment found you because your heart was ready to hear it. Tell me honestly, have you noticed that quiet pull inside your chest, the feeling that life is gently rearranging itself beneath the surface, or the subtle intuition that someone may be thinking about you? Have you also felt that quiet certainty that a breakthrough is approaching, even though you cannot yet see which path will lead you there? If life has felt like it's been asking you to pause and trust, if you sensed a fresh breeze beginning to move through your world, then this message may be arriving at exactly the right time. As July begins, Libra, you're stepping into the first moments of a new cycle, one that invites fresh possibilities, thoughtful choices, and quiet confidence to guide your next steps. The cards revealed today carry a message that reaches far beyond a single area of life. The Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, and the High Priestess together point toward new opportunities, emotional honesty, and a deeper trust in your own inner wisdom. This isn't only about material success, it's about healing the parts of yourself that once questioned your value, remembering who you were before fear made you doubt your own strength, before silence became heavier than words, and before you felt the need to become smaller just to feel secure. Today, I want to remind you that you don't have to remain in that waiting place. What has stayed hidden may soon come into the light. What has felt delayed could finally begin moving forward, and what once seemed out of reach may now become something you're ready to receive. If this message already speaks to your heart, share your intention in the comments by writing, "I'm ready for my $1,000,000 miracle. I choose divine timing. I trust what's meant for me will find me." When you give your hopes a voice, you often become more open to recognizing the opportunities already beginning to unfold. Before we continue, I want to sincerely thank you for spending this time here. Your presence, your encouragement, your thoughtful comments, and every way you've chosen to support this community truly matter more than you know. You're far more than someone watching a video. You become part of a space built on encouragement, hope, and shared growth. And Libra, I believe today's message may offer a perspective capable of changing the direction of your journey. That can only happen if you stay fully present with what's about to unfold, because the next part deserves your complete attention. Take a slow breath with me, let the outside noise settle for a moment, and ask yourself what inspired you to press play today. What quiet feeling, what gentle inner nudge guided you here? I believe your deeper wisdom recognized something. Your mind was only beginning to notice, and now you're standing at the beginning of a fresh chapter that has been patiently waiting for you. There is something deeply meaningful about timing that unfolds naturally rather than being forced. As these opening days of July continue, Libra, it may feel as though a new doorway is gradually opening, allowing possibilities into your life that your heart has quietly hoped for, even before you found the words to describe them. This new beginning isn't about superstition or chasing perfect conditions. It reflects the way fresh seasons often invite new opportunities when you're willing to meet them with openness, quiet belief, and the confidence that you're worthy of greater abundance, clearer direction, and more peace in the places that have carried uncertainty for far too long. Right now, Libra, life may be inviting you to loosen your grip instead of trying to control every outcome. This isn't about standing still or hoping something happens on its own. It's about moving into harmony with what you're genuinely prepared to welcome. During these opening days of July, the energy encourages you to trust that steady choices and quiet confidence often create the strongest beginnings. When the Ace of Pentacles appears, its message reaches far beyond financial gain. It speaks of building something lasting, something you can truly stand on, whether that arrives through a promising opportunity, a meaningful career conversation, a new agreement, or unexpected support that grows over time. More than anything, it asks whether you're ready to receive without questioning your own worth, because accepting good things with confidence can be one of the greatest forms of healing. Alongside it, the Page of Cups brings the focus toward the heart. Someone may have feelings they've struggled to express, whether that person belongs to your past or has been quietly present in your life all along. What matters most isn't who it is, but that emotional honesty becomes easier when people begin lowering the walls they've carried for far too long. Then comes the High Priestess, reminding you that the quiet voice within has probably understood more than you've admitted. Long before answers become visible, you've already sensed that something meaningful is approaching. In a world filled with distractions, opinions, and endless noise, your intuition deserves your attention. Because that gentle inner knowing may be preparing you for what's next, rather than asking you to fear the unknown. The deeper message here reflects a grounded understanding of attraction and intention. Life often responds less to what we desperately chase and more to what we sincerely believe we're capable of embracing. As this new month begins, the real question becomes whether your daily choices, your mindset, and the way you treat yourself reflect the belief that you're ready for the opportunities you've been hoping to welcome. I know that's not always easy to hold on to. Everyday responsibilities, constant demands, and the pace of modern life can easily pull your attention away from that quiet confidence inside you. Even so, meaningful moments still have a way of finding you. Sometimes through an unexpected conversation, sometimes through a peaceful pause that reminds you to breathe, and sometimes through a message that arrives exactly when you need it most. So, Libra, don't hurry past these first days of July. Allow this new beginning to unfold naturally and give yourself permission to notice what begins opening around you. When the right conversation, opportunity, or realization arrives, you may discover that you already recognize it, because you've been preparing yourself more deeply than you ever realized. More often than not, the greatest turning points aren't the ones we force into existence. They tend to appear after we stop trying to control every detail and created space for something different to enter. That's the invitation these opening days of July hold for you, a quiet reminder that fresh possibilities often arrive because you've become willing to let go of what no longer needs to be carried. This season isn't asking you to push harder. It's inviting you to move with openness, trust, and a willingness to receive what naturally belongs in your life. When the Ace of Pentacles appears, it often signals practical opportunities, meaningful progress, and tangible blessings. Yet those gifts rarely arrive in exactly the way you first imagined. They may appear through an unexpected payment, a helpful financial adjustment, a thoughtful gift, a welcome bonus, or another practical opportunity that seems to arrive just when you need it. Sometimes the greatest blessing isn't money itself, but the opportunity that changes everything that follows. It may arrive as a meaningful partnership, a conversation that opens new possibilities, or an idea that feels so naturally aligned with who you are that it quietly redirects your future. During these opening days of July, remember that you don't have to chase every possibility, because the opportunities meant for you often appear when your heart is steady enough to recognize them. Think about how a bird chooses to rest on a hand that remains calm instead of reaching to capture it. That's often how life's most meaningful moments arrive, with patience, quiet confidence, and the willingness to receive instead of forcing the outcome. Right now, Libra, the invitation isn't to push harder, but to remain open enough to welcome what may be finding its way toward you. Saying yes doesn't always happen with bold words or dramatic decisions. Sometimes it comes as a quiet certainty that settles deep inside you, the unmistakable feeling that something belongs in your life before your mind has fully explained why. At other times, it's simply your heart whispering, "I'm ready for this." And that quiet acceptance becomes the doorway through which new possibilities begin to enter. Over the years, I watched people experience meaningful transformation in ways that rarely began with constant striving. Lasting abundance often grows from emotional healing, from releasing what no longer reflects who you've become, and from allowing yourself to soften instead of carrying every burden alone. There is a richness that seems to reach those who have gradually made peace with yesterday, forgiven in their own time, carried private tears with quiet courage, and continued believing even when progress felt invisible. I want to remind you of something important. You've already lived through uncertainty, disappointment, and seasons that asked for more patience than you thought you possessed. You've continued planting seeds even when no one could yet see the harvest, and wisdom has long reminded us that seasons of quiet perseverance can eventually give way to seasons of joy. Perhaps that's why these first days of July feel significant. They invite you to believe that receiving something good doesn't require sacrificing your peace, your values, or your sense of self. Life isn't asking you to prove your worth. It may simply be inviting you to recognize the strength you've already built along the way. So let me ask you something, Libra. As July begins, what are you truly ready to welcome into your life? What if meaningful change started not because you forced it, but because you remained grounded, open, and willing to say yes when the right opportunity appeared? If that speaks to your heart, share it in the comments by writing, "May luck find me now." Sometimes putting your intention into words becomes the first step toward recognizing the possibilities already unfolding around you. This message isn't simply offering encouragement, it's inviting you to notice that the opportunity you've stopped chasing may already be moving closer in its own time. Many of life's most meaningful blessings appear after we've released the need to control every detail and created room for something unexpected to arrive. That spirit of openness is especially meaningful as this new month begins, Libra. The energy surrounding these first days isn't asking you to force results, but to welcome progress with trust, patience, and quiet confidence. When the Ace of Pentacles appears, it often points toward practical opportunities, steady growth, meaningful breakthroughs, and tangible blessings, although they rarely arrive in exactly the form you first imagined. Sometimes they come through an unexpected payment, a financial adjustment, a thoughtful gift, a bonus, or another practical opportunity that seems perfectly timed. Other times, the greater blessing is a new partnership, an inspired idea, or an open door that quietly leads you toward lasting prosperity. Whatever form it takes, you don't have to chase it, because the opportunities that truly belong with you often arrive the same way a bird settles onto an open hand only when it finds stillness, trust, and genuine readiness. Right now, Libra, life may be quietly asking a simple but meaningful question. When the opportunity you've been hoping for appears, will you allow yourself to receive it? Your answer doesn't have to be dramatic or spoken for everyone to hear. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet moment of certainty, when your heart suddenly recognizes something your mind no longer needs to question. At other times, it's nothing more than a gentle feeling inside that says, "This belongs in my life, and I'm ready to welcome it." When you open that inner door, the blessings meant for you often arrive with far greater ease than you imagined. What begins as one small yes can create space for many new possibilities to enter. Over the years, I've seen meaningful transformation unfold in countless different ways. More often than not, lasting abundance grows through healing rather than endless striving, through releasing what no longer reflects who you become, and through allowing your heart to soften instead of carrying every burden alone. Some of life's deepest rewards seem to find those who have quietly made peace with yesterday, forgiven in their own time, shed private tears, and continued moving forward with hope even when nothing appeared to be changing. I want to remind you of something you may not tell yourself often enough. You've already carried the weight of uncertainty, disappointment, and long seasons of waiting with remarkable strength. You've continued planting seeds, even when the harvest wasn't visible, and wisdom has long reminded us that those who sow through difficult seasons often discover joy waiting on the other side. Perhaps that's why these opening days of July feel so meaningful. They invite you to believe that receiving something good doesn't require sacrificing your peace, your integrity, or the person you've worked so hard to become. Life isn't asking you to prove yourself again. It may simply be inviting you to trust that you're prepared for what comes next. So let me ask you, Libra, what are you ready to welcome as this new month begins? What if meaningful change didn't require force, but simply asked you to stay grounded, open-hearted, and willing to recognize the opportunities that appear? If that speaks to you, share your intention in the comments by writing, "May luck find me now." Giving your intention a voice can become a gentle reminder that you're choosing to move forward with openness. This message isn't merely offering encouragement. It's reminding you that the opportunity you stopped chasing may already be finding its own way toward you. Sometimes what our hearts truly long for isn't a perfect ending, but the clarity that allows us to step into a new beginning. Libra, this is where the message begins to reach something even more personal. The Page of Cups suggests that someone within your emotional world may be feeling ready to express thoughts or feelings that have remained unspoken for a long time. It represents a gentle invitation toward honesty, understanding, and the possibility that long-held emotions are finally ready to come into the light. This isn't limited to romance. It may involve any meaningful connection that is felt unfinished, uncertain, or marked by silence, whether that person is a former partner, a trusted friend, or even a family member. What makes this moment meaningful isn't only that someone may be ready to speak, but that your own heart has become ready to truly hear what needs to be said. Emotional clarity has a quiet way of creating healing. It may not change everything that happened, but it can lift the weight of unanswered questions, allowing you to breathe more freely, rest more peacefully, and continue your journey with greater ease. Remember this above all: forgiveness is never an obligation, and your healing always deserves to come first. If someone shares a truth you didn't expect, you're allowed to listen with kindness while still honoring the boundaries that protect your peace. Or you may discover that their words arrive at exactly the right moment, bringing understanding and a sense of release that has been missing for far longer than you realized. Throughout the years, I watched moments like this unfold again and again in the lives of people finding their way through love, loss, and reconciliation. Sometimes the message you waited for doesn't arrive until months or even years have passed. It may come as an apology you never expected to hear, or an honest confession that quietly says, "I didn't know how to express it back then, but I understand now." Even when those words aren't perfect, they often carry a sincerity that reaches far deeper than polished explanations ever could. You may realize that you were never truly forgotten. Whether those conversations change anything on the outside or not, they often create profound change within you. One lesson I've seen time and again is that speaking the truth has a remarkable way of dissolving confusion. Because once something hidden is finally brought into the light, it no longer holds the same power over your heart. You stop replaying unanswered questions in the middle of the night. Your mind gradually grows quieter, your body begins to relax, and the stories you've carried for so long lose their grip. What often surprises people isn't that they're ready to rebuild an old connection, but that they're finally ready to release the weight they've been carrying with compassion and peace. Real healing doesn't ask you to reopen every closed chapter. Instead, it gives you the freedom to keep walking without carrying the burden of everything that was left unsaid. If these words are stirring something inside you today, don't dismiss that feeling too quickly, because there may be someone, whether from your present or your past, who is also feeling the pull toward honesty in their own way. Perhaps they're preparing to express themselves through a conversation, through their actions, or simply through a change in energy, while your own heart has already begun listening. So let me gently ask you, Libra, is there someone you've quietly hoped to hear from? Is there a silence that has lingered long enough to leave questions you never fully answered? If these words resonate with you, write in the comments, "I am ready to hear the truth." Sometimes that simple choice opens the door to healing, not only with another person but within yourself. When truth meets a heart that's ready, peace has room to grow. Love rarely arrives with grand gestures. More often it comes quietly, like morning light through an open window. Libra, if you felt your heart waiting for something it couldn't explain, these opening days of July invite you to trust that feeling. The High Priestess reminds you that your intuition has known more than your mind. Long before the answers appeared, you sensed who truly valued you. Now those quiet instincts may begin taking shape in your reality. Two paths may be unfolding. One is a new connection that feels calm, genuine, and emotionally secure, allowing you to be fully yourself. The other is someone from your past returning with real growth, accountability, and a healthier way of loving. If that happens, trust actions more than promises and let your inner wisdom guide you. At the heart of this message is a simple truth. The love you welcome reflects the love you give yourself. As you choose self-respect over self-sacrifice, you naturally become available for relationships built on the same foundation. The difficult relationships you've experienced didn't define you, they taught you what real love should never ask you to give up. Libra, you're no longer willing to settle for less than you deserve. As you grow more at peace with yourself, you create space for relationships rooted in respect, emotional safety, and genuine care. When you stop chasing approval and start choosing yourself, life often begins changing in quiet but remarkable ways. So let me ask you, what do you feel entering your life? Whether it's a new connection, a healthier return, or a deeper relationship with yourself, you'll recognize it because it helps you grow instead of asking you to become less. If this speaks to you, write in the comments, "I choose healing love." Real transformation begins with intention, not force. These first days of July invite you to clear space emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, because new opportunities need room to grow. Before you can fully receive what's ahead, you may first need to release what no longer belongs. Simple acts can support that intention. Clean a corner of your home, light a candle, or write down old fears before safely letting them go as a symbol of moving forward. The important part isn't the ritual itself, but the decision behind it. I'm ready to leave behind what no longer supports the life I'm creating. What you make room for has a way of finding you. As your surroundings become lighter and more peaceful, your heart often follows. If it feels right, repeat this affirmation. I release the past. I open my heart to the miracle that's meant for me. Let those words remind you that you're not pretending to be ready. You are choosing to become ready, one intentional step at a time. In personal growth, we often talk about emotional looping. When your mind keeps returning to the same hurt or disappointment, it's usually searching for an ending it never received. But closure doesn't always come from someone else. It often begins when you choose to stop reopening the same chapter and make room for a lighter, new beginning. As these opening days of July unfold, let your choices reflect the energy you want to carry forward. Whether it's wearing calming colors like sky blue, white, blush pink, or light gold, or simply caring for your inner world, remind yourself to release self-blame, let go of unanswered questions, and stop believing you must be perfect before you're ready. Ask yourself gently, what am I ready to release today so I can move forward with greater freedom? If that speaks to your heart, write in the comments, I release the past. I open my heart to what's next. Let those words become a promise to yourself that you're ready to welcome this new chapter with openness and confidence. Libra, you've come further than you realize. You made it through uncertainty, silence, and unanswered questions, and those experiences shaped someone wiser, stronger, and more open than before. The Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, and the High Priestess remind you that your resilience, your choices, and your willingness to keep your heart open have helped create the path you're walking now. Because of that inner work, new opportunities may begin finding you. A financial opening, an honest conversation, or a healthier kind of love may appear not as random luck, but as the natural result of the space you've created through healing. Life responds less to desperate wishing than to genuine readiness, and you've already begun preparing yourself for what's next. Take a slow breath and let that truth settle in. Real alignment happens when your heart, your choices, and your sense of self begin moving in the same direction. Ask yourself, what would change if you lived today as though the opportunities you've been hoping for were already on their way? Perhaps this is the moment to release hesitation, welcome possibility, and recognize that your story is already changing. The next 72 hours may mark the beginning of something meaningful. Opportunities often arrive quietly, waiting for you to receive them with trust instead of force. Libra, if your heart is already saying yes, honor that feeling. Share your intention in the comments by writing, I'm ready for my $1 million surprise. I open my heart to divine truth and love. Or, I welcome the truth and abundance that are mine. Every word becomes another step toward the future you're choosing to create. If this message resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need these words today. Thank you for being here and for continuing to choose your own growth. Libra, may these first days of July bring you clarity, quiet confidence, and meaningful opportunities as you move forward with an open heart and open hands.